This is Kenji. He's using a centuries-old technique to dye silk for a kimono. It's physically demanding, but that's not the only challenge. He has to match this colour exactly, making adjustments by eye. And it's essential that the fabric inside this barrel remains white. Kenji won't know if he's successful until he opens the lid. This is one of over 20 steps required to make a kimono. You can buy a cotton kimono for $300, but a handmade Chiso kimono can cost over $10,000. And the company's most expensive kimonos cost 10 times that. We followed 10 artisans, step by step, to find out what makes these kimonos so expensive. Versions of the kimono have been worn for centuries. Today, the kimono is viewed as formal wear, worn on special occasions like weddings or coming-of-age ceremonies. Part of the reason why Chiso's kimonos are so expensive is that they're made entirely out of silk. It takes around 12 meters of silk to make a single kimono. Chiso collaborates with a network of highly skilled artisans. Each step is done by hand and can take weeks to complete. This intricate design starts out as a simple sketch.
はじめだいたいこんな小さいやつで描いて、でこの大きくして、これ下当たりするのに1日ぐらいですかね。でもこれをきれいに描き直そう思ったらやっぱり1週間は絶対かかる、10日ぐらい。これなんか細かいから結構かかりますね。
Once the design is ready, Hiroshi transfers it to the silk. This step is called drafting, and it can take up to 2 weeks. Hiroshi ensures that the design looks good when the kimono is worn, not just on a flat surface. These lines are critical to the design process, but you won't see them on the finished kimono. This paint is washed away after acting as a guide for other artisans. Hiroshi has 37 years of experience, but he's still very critical of his work.
必ず描き上がってからやっぱりあそこはしといたらこうしといたらっていうのがたくさん出てくるもので、仕事なんでね、時間的なものもありますんで、ね、何十時間かけて家言うんやったらそら何回もそれこそ自己満足でね。
Chiso's kimonos are known for their complex patterns, painted using a technique called yuzen. Artisans trace the design with a glue-like paste that separates colours when the silk is painted. It also gives a characteristic white outline to parts of the design.
なのでその線で描いたところは最終的に染まらずに生地の白色が出てくるので、その輪郭線っていうのは白色になります。
It's patient work, but Ai says it's all worth it when she sees the finished kimono.
私はもともと中学生ぐらいの時からこういう着物を作る職人になりたいなと思って京都に出てきたんですけれど、やっぱり根気はすごくいりますし、やっぱ座りっぱなしなのでちょっと肩が凝ってきたりとかもあるんですけど、根気さえあればっていうところはあります。とあとはやっぱり綺麗に仕上がった時とかはすごく嬉しいです。
This is just the start of a months-long process. Pieces of the kimono are sent off to different artisans across Kyoto. Each artisan must perfect their section while keeping in mind the final design. At Yoko's workshop, she dyes the base of the kimono with these large brushes.
とりあえず早く動かすっていうのが刷毛ムラいかないコツですし、着物を染めようと思ったら仕立てた時に全部の濃度が一緒になってるってことは同じリズムで全部いくっていうことなんですね。
Yoko and her assistant blend the edges, working around the design. But this isn't the only way kimonos are dyed. Some are dyed using a technique called shibori, which creates bold colours and distinct shapes. But it's very tedious work. Before Kenji starts working, artisans sew up the silk and bind this barrel.
子供自分からね稽古して、教えてもらってやってるんです。ですから何十年ってなりますけどね。
The seam Hiromi is sewing forms the edge of the design. Then, Matsuyama wraps the silk along this wooden tub and tacks it into place before he attaches the lid. This step is key to preventing dye from bleeding inside. Now, it's time for Kenji to dip the silk. He works quickly but constantly monitors the silk to ensure it's dyed correctly. If the barrel remains in the dye for too long, the colours will start to bleed. Kenji cuts a strip of fabric, compares it to the swatch, and adjusts its dye accordingly.
色の配合、染め屋によってみんな違いますけど、こっちの場合は反対色で先させていくから、入れすぎたらものすごく効くんです。反対色やから。
After the dyeing is complete, Kenji lifts the lid and examines his work. All of these steps combine to tell a story through the design of the kimono. Themes of nature or the seasons are common, while some designs reference poems or plays. One of the most skilled and delicate steps is the yuzen dyeing. Tomoko has 25 years of experience making kimonos.
具体的にどのような色をこの着物だったらどのようなイメージを膨らませてどのような色にしていくかっていう大体具体的な色を拾っていきます。
Yuzen dyeing has been practiced for centuries and has become an iconic feature of high-end kimonos. The technique is more expensive and time-consuming than screen printing, but Chiso's customers are willing to pay a premium for the result. Long-sleeved kimonos with complicated designs can take 2 to 3 weeks to paint.
自分で合わせた色を全部一つ一つここにテストをしてで記録として残しておくものです。でこれを見て次にこれを合わすには大体どうしたらいいかっていうのはもう入ってるっていうことです。数字にはできないので技術的に難しいものはやはり写実調のいわゆる自然のままのような花でありますとか草加紋っていうのの
The final step in the process is for artisans to apply gold leaf and embroider complex designs. Embroidery alone can take weeks to months depending on the design. The more embroidery a kimono has, the more expensive it will be. When all the pieces fall into place, the finished kimono is a work of art, a testament to the skill of each artisan who has worked on the silk.
着物一着作るのにだいたい20名ぐらいの人が関わってます。その手仕事のやっぱり良さ、細部であったり、それぞれの工程の非常に高い技術が要求されまして、それはやっぱり機械ではなかなかできない本当に細部の美しさであったり、こういった展示をするときに、柄がしっかり見えやすいように仮縫いを行っているという状態が、販売されている状態ですね。まずお客様の寸法を採寸をしてである程度は規定の寸法で押し立てはするんですね。
Chiso's kimonos take 6 to 12 months to make, and those hundreds of hours of labour are reflected in the price. Most range from $7,000 to $14,000, but some of Chiso's elaborate designs cost over $100,000. And the accessories traditionally worn with a kimono increase the price even more.
でお着物がなぜ高くなるかっていうことなんですけれども、 いかに職人がどれだけ手を加えたかっていう、それは友禅の細かさであったり、もちろん分量も関係してきますし。
Customers looking for less expensive kimonos might choose to rent or to buy refurbished ones, which usually cost a few $100s, but still provide good quality. Buying a cotton kimono, or one without complex yuzen, is much more affordable. These kimonos are often worn for less formal events. But current demand for expensive, complex kimonos is low. Kimono sales declined dramatically in the 90s during Japan's economic crash, and the industry has continued to shrink. Today, it's around 14% of the size it was in 1975. Chiso sells around 4,000 kimonos each year, but the relevance of the garment in modern life is limited.
両極だと思うんですけど、いやもう全く関心がないわっていう方と、やっぱりこうちょっとこう着物に、やっぱ日本人だから着物に目覚めてきたっていう方と。
Further complicating matters, the artisans it relies upon to maintain production are getting older.
でそのやっぱり伝統的な技術はやっぱりその職人の技術力が高いっていうことが条件なんですが、だいたい職人さん今で60代とか70代の方たくさんいらっしゃるんで、30年以上仕事していただいている方が多いと思います。今新しい職人さんを見つけるのはやっぱりそういう職人の仕事をやりたいっていうそういう若い方もいらっしゃいますんで、ただ全体的には職人の数はやっぱり減っていってますね。
The future of this centuries-old clothing tradition depends on the skill of the artisans who practice it.